Sage here, and we are back. I just made 2 announcements, so if you missed them, please go back to my Facebook page and check out the first video from today. You will not be disappointed. So I want to riff on a little topic this morning that, frankly, I am really passionate about, and it's one that I took to heart about, oh gosh, I don't even know, like 20 years ago. And since then, I've still used this mode of thinking. So I want you to think about something that you're going through in your life right now that that is less than savory, or that you don't like, okay? So think about a shitty relationship, or think about weight gain, or debt, or an addiction, or something that you have in your life, or like a habit that you just don't like, that you're like, oh, I wish I could stop this habit. So I want you to think about one thing in your life that you don't like. So I want you to decide what that is. Most people can go, oh yeah, it's this. So once you have that in your head, then what I want you to do is I want you to think about, if you don't take any action towards resolving it, what is your life going to be like in 2 months, in a year, in 10 years? This habit or this thing in your life will still be there. It could be worse. So I want you to think about now how that would affect your life, how that would feel for you. How would it feel? So let's just say that you gained 20 pounds, let's just say. And you're like, oh, I've gained this 20 pounds, I've been trying to lose it, but it's not working, and I've been doing this yo-yo dieting, or I've been doing all this exercise and watching my weight, and I'm still not releasing it. And it's like, oh my God. And so think about in 10 years, it's still there. Maybe even doubled. Maybe in 3 months, it's still there. Maybe you've gained a couple more pounds. How is this going to affect you on a daily basis? How is this going to affect you on a moment-to-moment basis? A lot of people are overweight and they can't play with their kids. A lot of people are overweight and they can't do the things that they want to do because of the extra weight. What if you have a shitty relationship and you feel suffocated in your life, and you're waiting for the right time to address it, or you're waiting for those perfect conditions, and you choose to just keep waiting, and maybe it's been 3 years, maybe it's been 5 years, maybe it's been 8 years, maybe it's been 10 years, and this has been ongoing. So look at your life in the future. What is it going to be like in 3 months? What is it going to be like in a year, in 2 years, in 10 years? Probably the same or worse. The reason why it gets worse, typically, is because when we have something that is just a little bit off, or I've gained just a little bit of weight, or I'll have just one more drink, and I'll just ignore that one thing that my spouse is doing that's bothering me, okay? What happens is that little bit gets a little bit more, gets a little bit more, gets a little bit more, and then all of a sudden you literally have a shitstorm in your life in this one area, and you're like, oh my God, what just happened here? And I've seen this in my life. I'm gonna get off of Wi-Fi because Wi-Fi. So I really want you to think about this. And when we start to pile on these things, and things are just a little bit off today, and we choose to put off taking action, and put off taking action, and put off taking action, literally our life becomes unmanageable. Our world becomes unrecognizable. And this is something I have been through. I have lived through this. And 20 years ago, I heard of this concept of, you can know about something all day long, but until you actually do something or you take action, nothing's going to change. Absolutely nothing is going to change. And so I knew I wanted something different. And at 20, actually it was about 20 or 21, is when I started to become a self-help junkie. And one of the first self-help books that I read, let me see if I can remember what the name of it was. Oh, it was called Life 101. And I should probably get a copy of that book and reread it. But Life 101 was the book. And that was kind of my first self-help book that I read that catapulted me into actually thinking about my life instead of just reacting to outside stimulus and, okay, the doorbell rings, so let me go do that. Okay, so this is going on, so let me do that. And I was very governed by outside stimulus, very governed by it. And I wasn't really driven internally by that internal motivating force. I mean, there was some things that I knew that I wanted and some things that I knew that I wanted to do and say and be and have, but it wasn't until I actually started to work on my stuff, and it wasn't until I actually put action and took action that I started to see results, that I started to see a positive change in my life. And I was like, oh my God, this like works. This is so cool. And I see time and time again, people will enroll in a class or enroll in a program and then not even show up, not even attend. And then I see other people that attend but see no action and no changes. And then other people, and these are the people that are the majority of my tribe, of you all, is that you sign up for a program or a class, you're in it to win it, you take action on what you learn, and your life exponentially gets better. Exponentially gets better. And that's the thing, is that I really want you to think about today, what your life is like. And think about that one thing that is messing everything else up. That one thing. It could be debt. It could be mindset, like how you think about life. It could be like a pessimistic attitude. It could be codependency. It could be putting up with bullshit behavior from your partner or from a coworker or a boss or even yourself. It could be an addiction of some sort. It could be weight issues. It could be health issues. It could be self-sabotage. So I want you to think about, I really want you to think about what's one thing that's messing everything else up. And if you have a piece of paper, grab a piece of paper and I want you to write that one thing down, okay? Write the one thing down that you think is just messing up your whole life, okay? So I'm going to wait for you all. Go get a piece of paper and I'll do some shout outs here. Hi Bianca, woohoo! Happy Monday morning to you too. Hi Candace, yay! I'm excited to see you soon in our level 2 training. Hi Kimberly, woohoo! Hi Vikas, I think that's how you pronounce your name. Hi Betty, yay! Hi Usha. We have, who else do we have here? Hang on. We have Kimberly Thomas. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Thank you so much. Yes, I am. It's been an absolutely amazing day. Hi Kelly. Hi Tammy. Yay. Hi Christy. Awesome. Hi Margie. Okay, Bianca says, amen. One compromise at a time equals a shit storm. Yes, 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 yes. That is so true. Well, and you know something else, Bianca, is that we don't set out to make compromises all the time. We don't set out to just ignore things, or we don't set out to say, oh, well, this is just a little thing, I'm just going to ignore this, whatever. It's gradual. It's so gradual that we don't even really think about it. It's just like, you know, one day we're tired and we don't feel like working out, but we feel like having an extra serving of whatever for dinner. And then the next day, maybe it's raining, or maybe you've got cramps and you're like, no, I'm not going to work out today either. And then maybe you just do a little bit of stretching the next day. And then before you know it, you haven't worked out in a month. You've gained 2 pounds and you're like, oh, it's just a little bit of weight. And then you continue not to work out and you gain 2 more pounds, and then 5 pounds, and then 2 more pounds, and then 1 pound. And before you know it, you're 20 pounds overweight and you're like, well, how the hell did that happen? And like you're totally oblivious to it, and you know that it's happened just kind of gradually, But like literally, it just happens overnight, it seems. Same thing with relationships. Last week I did a class, a really powerful class on boundaries. And I got so much feedback about it. If you haven't seen the Boundaries Lunch and Learn, go to YouTube, to my Facebook, or I'm sorry, not to my Facebook, to my YouTube channel and check out the Boundaries class. I think it's live on YouTube. If not, then it's going to be live later on today. Let me actually make a note about that. And anyway, so in the boundaries class, we talked about how most people have a set of boundaries, okay? But they don't really know exactly what they are. So as we grow up, we observe boundaries from other people and around other people, and we learn how to navigate them. But we don't even usually think about relational boundaries until we get into relationships. And then when we're in relationships, all of a sudden, a boundary is crossed because it is unknown. So the number one way why boundaries are crossed is because they're just not known. It's kind of like a rule that nobody told you about the rule, and then they're not going to tell you about it until you break the rule. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, actually you're not supposed to do that. And you're like, oh, my bad, I didn't know, okay? But in relationships of all kinds, whether platonic or intimate or sexual, what happens typically is somebody crosses a boundary and then you realize, oh, wait a minute, I don't like that. And that's your clue, that's your signal to share with your partner what that boundary is and that it's just been crossed and that how you want them to proceed in that, specific aspect of your relationship. But what happens is a lot of people will compromise, just as Bianca said. They'll compromise and they'll put it off, saying, oh, well, it's just once. And then they do it again, and you don't say anything. And then they do it again, and then you don't say anything. And before you know it, it's like 3 years, and finally you're at your wit's end, and you're like, oh, my God, would you stop doing this? And then the other person's like, what are you talking about? I've been doing this for 3 years. You've never said anything. And so the key in all of this is when you see something in your life that is just a little bit off, do something about it. Do something about it. So look at that one thing that you wrote down that is interfering with everything else in your life, okay? Look at that one thing. Now, I want you to ask yourself, really ask yourself, what is my life going to be like if I don't change this, or if I don't address this, if I don't take action? Now, taking action can feel really, really overwhelming, especially if it's weight. If it's debt, if it's addiction, if it's codependency, if it's somebody having an affair or you having an affair. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of heaviness. It's a lot of going, oh my God, I don't want to rock the boat. I like my life the way it is, kind of. I mean, it's okay. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's kind of just okay, And so many people are so comfortable in the discomfort of their life that what happens is they don't even notice when it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, I freaking hate my life. So I want you to ask yourself, okay, this one thing, like let's just say it's debt. Okay, so you've got, let's just say $10,000 in credit card debt, or $5,000, or even $1,000. And you hate it. Every time you look at the credit card statement, you feel this just drop in your energy, and you're like, oh, fuck, I need to pay this, and I can't afford it. And then all these stories start rolling around in your head. I did a video yesterday about the stories that we tell ourselves. So if you missed that, watch it. It's really good. Because I share with you a little bit on how you can re-script it and how you can change the story. But so you've got this thing in your life, okay, that is weighing you down, that's pulling your energy down, that's causing a little bit of distress or a little bit of discomfort or a lot of discomfort or a lot of distress, and all of a sudden you realize, shit, how do I fix this? Hi, Angie! Yay! It's my big sister! Woo-woo! Then you ask yourself, how can I fix this? How can I even address this? And just the thought of addressing it, just the thought of taking action makes you feel overwhelmed. Well, I'm here to tell you that just being aware of that one thing will start the process of change. Will start the process and the momentum of shifting. Hi, Kelly. Woohoo! It's a family reunion. I love it. So the one thing that you wrote down. So for those of you just joining, write one thing down on a piece of paper that's fucking everything else in your life up. Okay? It could be weight. It could be addiction. It could be a relationship. It could be self-sabotaging behavior. It could be debt. The one thing that's messing everything else up in your life, the kind of that through line in your life that if this thing was gone, all of a sudden you'd be like, oh my God, my life is so much better. So write that one thing down. Then I want you to ask yourself, okay, if I don't make a change, what's my life going to look like in 2 months? Or what's it going to look like in a year? Or what's it going to look like in 10 years? Or 5 years? Or 20 years? And I'm here to tell you it's going to be the same or worse. And it's usually worse. Reason being is because that energy just weights you down and it suffocates you. It really suffocates you. So now I want to ask yourself, what's one thing that you could do today to help move you in the right direction? So the whole premise of this video is you can know about something all day long. You can know how to lose weight. You can know how to get out of debt. You can know how to have a healthy relationship. You can know how to stop addictions. You can know how to do all this stuff. But until you take action in what it is that you know, nothing is ever going to change. In fact, well, it's not going to change in the direction that you want it to go. It's going to change in that it's going to get worse. So my recommendation for you today is to really look at, okay, so this is the one thing that's fucking everything else up in my life. What do I know about this? What do I know about codependency? What do I know about addiction? What do I know about weight loss? What do I know about getting financially free and removing debt from my life? What do I really know about it? You might know a ton. Maybe you've taken a ton of classes, read a lot of books, yada, 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 but you just haven't taken action. But you might also be on the spectrum is, I'm freaking clueless and I have no idea how to even address this. So, and you could be kind of somewhere like in like the middle where you're like, well, I've done a little bit of research, but not a whole lot, so I'm not quite sure which is the best mode or modality or method for me. So, one of the things that I teach you in the class that we're actually starting today called the Bullshit Eliminator, one of the things that I'm going to teach you is how to get started in taking action, even if you have no clue how to do it. Even if you have no clue how to do it. And I'm going to allude a little bit right now, but I'm going to save all of it, or most of it, for the people that are in the program tonight. But one of the ways that you can start to address it is to shift your mindset. Shift how you think about it. This goes in alignment with the law of increase and the law of thinking, which is part of my Manifesting Made Easy program, which, for those of you who have been following me, we are going to do another How to Manifest Like a Boss free 5-day challenge in the second week of July, which I'm really freaking pumped about. Oh my God, I can't even stand it. That is like the funnest challenge ever because people manifest a shit ton of stuff. Anyway, so start to shift your mindset. So ask yourself, how can I see this differently? How can I see this weight differently? How can I see this addiction differently? How can I see these extra 5 pounds differently? How can I see my debt differently? How can I see my relationship differently? How can I see my boss differently? And start to kind of work this process yourself. Start to allow yourself to say, okay, how can I see this differently? And write this down on your piece of paper. So the first thing that you have written down on your piece of paper is, what's the one thing that's fucking everything else up? The next thing is, what is my life going to look like if I don't make a change? And then ask yourself, how can I see this differently? How can I see this one thing differently? And give yourself permission to look at it differently. Give yourself permission to say, all right, so I've been looking at it from this vantage point. How can I shift the way that I'm looking at this so that I can see it in a different light, so that when you see it in a different light, it usually won't be as emotionally charged. you usually also then see opportunities that you didn't really notice were there before. And then you're like, oh my God, this is freaking awesome. This is cool. Because then what happens is when you see it in a different light, then all of a sudden you start to kind of unlock that possibility, unlock your intuition on different ways to approach it, different actions you can take. Because when we see something that's very, tunnel focused, we see something that's very just like, okay, this is what I know about this, yada, yada, and you keep the blinders on because you're just looking at it from one vantage point, all of a sudden, when you look at it differently, kind of like the 6 and the 9, when you look at 6 from the one vantage point, it looks like a 6. But if you turn it around, all of a sudden, oh my God, this is a 9. How did I miss that? Or like that, where's the book? Oh, it's over there. Or like that one image where there's a young lady and an old woman in the same drawing, and you tell people, look at the old woman, and they see an old woman, and then all of a sudden you go, look at the young lady, and then people see a young lady. And then if you just hold it up and say, do you see an old woman or a young lady? And then people will all of a sudden go, oh, wait a minute, and they'll start to search for both. And so when you give yourself permission to look at this thing that you have been, that's messing your life up, and you give yourself permission to say, how can I look at this differently? How can I see this from another vantage point? Okay. And then you give yourself permission to be open and receptive through your intuition to manifest another way, to manifest a better way to look at it. All of a sudden, then all the possibilities start to pop in, and you're like, oh my God, how did I miss this? This is so freaking awesome. And so that is your challenge today for all of you. You all know how I love to give challenges. Now, if you don't want to do this alone, because sometimes doing it alone sucks, because then you get frustrated, you get defeated. I'm constantly blending words together, people. And you really are like, okay, wait a minute, I don't know how to do this. Then I would encourage you to join the amazing program that I have going on. It's called the Bullshit Eliminator 30-Day Reboot Experience. And what we do, we meet every single week starting today at 6 p.m., 6 to 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And I share with you how to do this. And then I do laser coaching. So I will help you specifically for your specific thing that you're going through. And I'm going to teach you how to see things differently. I'm going to teach you how to change your mindset and the actual step-by-step process on how to start shifting this thing in your life. And it's going to be gradual. We're not going to be ripping the Band-Aid off, because a lot of people are like, oh, Flora, I cannot just rip the Band-Aid off, because that's going to cause a complete shitstorm in my life. I totally get it. I totally get it. There's some people in the group that are going to do that. They're going to rip the Band-Aid off. So you're going to hear me coach with them. You're going to hear their story over the next month, because we're going to be meeting every single week. So you can be their sacred witness and watch how they navigate through it. If you're kind of like, yeah, I'm just going to kind of baby step and just kind of slowly navigate this thing. But also, if you're ready to go, fuck it, I'm doing it, and you're going to rip the freaking Band-Aid off, and you're going to be like, come hell or high water, I'm going to do this, join as well. So if you're interested in joining, or if you want to join the Bullshit Eliminator 30-Day Reboot Experience, click the link below, sign up. You can get in for $49. I made it super affordable for absolutely everybody. And I've just got to say one last time, if you don't make a change today, tomorrow, this issue is still going to be there. The next day, it's still going to be there. In a week from now, in a month from now, in a year from now, this issue that you're battling, that you're struggling with, that is just effing bullshit in your life, is still going to be there. You can know about something all day long, but until you take action, that thing is going to eat you up. That thing is going to keep messing up your life and messing up your life, messing up your relationships, your health, your wealth, finances, career, everything, until you address it. And I want to see you thrive. I want to see you take action. I want to see you eliminate this bullshit from your life. I want to see you clear the excuses so that you can finally live the life that you love. So, if that's you, which I know it is because that's who my tribe is, that's who my peeps are, click the link below, join in. We start tonight. Oh my God, I'm excited. Now, if you know someone who wants to be in this with you, you can have a battle buddy if you want to, which I highly encourage it. Tag your friends, say, hey, let's join together. And I'll see you tonight at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm so pumped. It's going to be audio, so we're going to be over the phone or over the webcast. And for those of you who join during this live session, what I'm going to be doing is I'm also going to be doing video. So in the archives, there's going to be video of this program and of this class as well. So click the link below, join in, take action. Otherwise, like I said, if you don't take action, you're going to be stuck in this same spot. And I want to say hellish spot because that really is what it feels like. It feels like hell when you can't get out of someplace that is just not, it's just causing you to just survive instead of thrive. So click the link below, check it out, join. We start today at 6 p.m. All right, I'll see you in there. Mwah! Bye.